Great. So yeah, this year we learned a lot last year. In the second year, I think we had a great turnout last year. We're hoping for an even bigger turnout this year. We'll talk about a couple things that we found last year, some of the feedback we got, and then I want to introduce Liz from Pilobolus to talk about what they're going to do. And then we can open the floor to ideas. So last year was spread out over the course of the whole day. We started early in the morning at 11, 10 or 11, and went all the way through the evening. We saw there was a lot of people throughout the day, but also some people kind of left by the evening. So the feedback we've received for this year is to kind of start a little later in the afternoon and have it more consolidated into the evening, more consolidated to Main Street. Mm-hmm. Have a little bit more going on Main Street. We had a great turnout last year from families, and we want to amp up this year the marketing towards the family events during the earlier part of the day. Mm-hmm. Having kids play here, having Nutmeg Fudge participating, I think it's a great family event. We also have on the same night happening Northwest Idol at the Warner Theater. So I think that's a great opportunity to kind of showcase that event, partner up with Parks and Recreation, and just have more things for people to be able to do. I think it will help bring more people to the event as opposed to competing with it. I think the having the festival on the same day will help, and we'll join marketing efforts as well on that. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Hey, just jump in here. This is Casey McKenna from Parks and Rec. If we can just start to refer to that show as Northwest Vocal Showcase. We had already received one cease and desist letter from American Idol that they own everything Idol.
Good to know.
So, especially in anything that goes out to the public.
Good to know.
Can you repeat the new name, please?
It's Northwest Vocal Showcase. It's been that name for a couple of years now, but yeah, like I said, we got the lawyers on this.
Yeah, it's becoming like Band-Aid or tissues, Kleenex.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So we have with us Pilobolus. We're very excited to announce that we're going to be partnering with them this year on the festival. Hi guys, would you like to introduce yourself and talk about what you're going to be doing at the festival?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. I'm Liz Durkin, recently hired Director of Development here at Pilobolus, and this is Raya, Development Associate. And we're going to be working closely with you all to make this event a great success in general, and of course on the Pilobolus portion of it. For those of you that don't know about our program Up, and Raya, feel free to chime in because I am new here, but it's an interactive community event. Steph, when we met, we talked about having people pre-register to kind of keep things organized, but basically I think we can have about 175-ish people pre-register to participate in a live performance, which would be led by our co-artistic director, Matt Kent. Everyone participating gets an umbrella that not only lights up, but changes color. And Matt will direct people that have maybe never performed before or done anything like this, and some people that have. And it's just amazing how to see this thing come together. They'll end up making formations, maybe a heart, maybe a
smiley face.
Yeah. So it's really fun, and it's a great way for people to get to know Pilopolis a little bit and some of the more family friendly programming that we offer. Anything to add, Raya?
Yeah, it's just a very collaborative experience that brings a community together, and we're figuring out the logistics of how to do this, but there will be a camera at bird's eye view above and then a projection of what's happening in real time, so people can see how working together is able to create these shapes and different color formations. And it's a really amazing experience for our community. So we're super excited to bring it to Torrington.
Great. Thank you.
Would that be for all ages to be able to join, kids and adults all
Yes.
participating?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think usually when we have young kids, we just stipulate that they are accompanied with an adult. But yes, anyone of any age can join us.
So that sort of brings us to some questions for Sergeant Baldus. Is that day available for a street closure in the evening?
Well, I'm gonna have to make it available. I mean, how can I let a large event like this not go, filled and take
Great.
I'd also like to bring up, hi, I'm Anna from Pilopolis, and I do the production here, that we'd be looking to test it out like the night before or on another evening, and get all our equipment out there. And then obviously we could move it so that the street doesn't have to be closed for a really long time. But I think that should be something that should be on everyone's radar, is the need to kind of do a technical run on the evening before to make sure that everything is working.
So I do have a road closure for an event on Friday. So I don't
Okay.
know as far as what your schedule is. If we waited until after that event and then did it afterwards, the road is already going to be closed. So it actually
Okay.
doesn't require anything further. We would just extend it.
Okay.
That way, if that works for you, again, I can get Anna, you can reach out to me as far as we'll coordinate that, trying to get that done prior.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, that's easy enough. And if you guys can just shoot her my email and contact information, and that way then you can get there. All right.
Thank you.
Are you guys planning on a rain date for this by chance, or is this a one-time do it or don't do it?
From Pilopolis' perspective, we are giving the participants umbrellas, so we can do it even with a little bit of rain. Of course, if it's terrible weather, that's a different story, but we have a little bit of leeway given that. But I don't know what the festival as a whole is thinking on that topic.
That's a great question. That is something that, we wanted to talk to you all about. I know for me, every year I get very, very stressed out about if it's going to rain or not. I think that having a rain date would be great, maybe the week after, just in case, but it would just come down to who would be able to commit to participating on the following week. If you have to use a rain date, there's always people that can't be there, but we'd want to make sure that if we do set a rain date, that we'll be able to make sure that at least we can have something to offer on the following week.
So try to let me know sooner than later so I can make sure to put that in my encroachment permit. I agree with you. I think you definitely need to have a rain date. Most of our road closures usually do have a rain date, just because, and I know it's a matter of logistics and trying to make sure that all the people and parts and everything can be in place. So just let me know sooner than later so I can get that permit out so we can make sure and secure you guys ahead of some of the wave. But yes, we do have something going on Friday. Doesn't affect your guys' Saturday. And then we'll coordinate with Pilopolis to make sure that we can get you guys out there for a test run.
Great.
Cool, perfect.
Yeah, and I'll just say right now, the following Saturday, we'll say is the rain date,
Yeah, the 26th,
the 26th.
August 26th.
Yep.
Great. So that's, we're still in the very, sorry,
Are you guys doing the beer garden again this year?
no.
Well, not us ourselves. I think we were talking with Tim from Two Road, or from the
Bad Dog?
company of Bad Dog up the street.
Yeah, Matt from Bad
Oh,
Dog.
yes. He wanted to do something, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
But,
he's gonna do something at the brewery.
Yeah,
Yeah, nothing on the
But not,
street.
nothing from us.
Nothing separated like it was for last year with
No.
Frankel.
No, it would be with Bad Dog up there, so.
Okay, just makes it easier. I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
lengthwise. Are you guys looking for Main Street, pretty much where we started from Water Street up to City Hall, as far as like last year? You guys went further. You guys actually went almost up to the church last year. And I guess there was the question mark of, was that too far, and to condense it a little bit down to City Hall Avenue, right where the beginning of City Hall is. So you pretty much have those 2 full city blocks.
I think so. Yeah, I think that would be plenty of space.
Yeah.
Yep, and then it allows for parking, and then you guys were able to put your stage and set up everything in the center by the Warner. I
Right.
know that you have other things going on. You know, again, you have the performing arts, or whatever it was called, Northwest Idol. I'm saying it.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that's going on that night as well. So you definitely will have a lot more cars. So you're probably going to want more parking. Are you doing your flamethrower fire juggler again this year?
I would like to, if that's possible.
That was well received. I heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about that it was very interesting and unique. Just so you know, I did get feedback on that.
Cool. And we'll do everything that we did last year to make sure. I forget, do we have to get a special permit for that? I think the Warner might have taken care of that. Oh, okay.
It wasn't a special permit. It's more or less just making sure that the fire marshal is just aware of it. And then I think we had the ambulance kind of on standby in case things went poorly.
Right.
Great. Cool. So that's pretty much it from our side, but we wanted to open up to the floor to all of you and see if you have any ideas brewing for, you know, how you might like to get involved this year. Any feedback you had from last year that you think we should kind of tweak and change. We're still in the initial planning process, very early now, so we can change pretty much anything that we want to change at this point.
I had a question, Steph.
Sure.
We talked briefly, I think, about possibly bringing in food trucks, like local food trucks, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if you thought about maybe asking the local restaurants first if they wanted to do sort of a taste of Torrington. I don't know, it's just a thought that I had, rather than, you know, we obviously want to support the local businesses, right?
Right.
Yeah, it depends on how much interest we can get from the restaurants. Some of them are very active and interested in engaging with this kind of thing. Everyone benefits from bringing, you know, 3,000 people downtown. It even becomes sort of a capacity thing where the restaurants are full. So people complained last year that our second food truck didn't show up. So I think having at least one food truck there in the evening for people that just want to grab something quick on the street, but also, you know, like you said, boosting up our relationship with the restaurants, how they are invited to be participants in this. As we do every year, we invite them to be creative and, you know, maybe offering something that's more of a grab and go option. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. And like I said, when you bring this many people downtown, everyone benefits. Even if there's a food truck, the restaurants are still going to do well.
Yeah, so I was down there last year. Hi, it's Heidi. And so I was there as like sunset came, and there were like a lot of people mulling around, and I did hear that, you know, that some of the food trucks hadn't shown up, but there were a lot of people, like, and it seemed like it was only the fire performer who had small sets. There was just like people kind of like, hey, this is fun. What, like, I think other things happening during that's you know, besides the fire, there was a lot of space, a lot of street, and not a ton. Like, I know it's such a there's like dispersed places like Franklin Plaza that's nice, and Co Park that's nice, and then it seems like the vibe at night is, you know, in front of the Warner, and if there's other things happening. So I don't know how that fits together, but you know, I go to lots of events a year, so let me know if
Yeah,
know.
we're definitely open to suggestions. I agree. I thought the same thing. I think that we have a lot more demand this year for vendor booths. So we're thinking of bringing some of the vendor booths over to Main Street as well, so that we can fill out some of that space in that way. I think also maybe, you know, not trying to go as far up the street. We had tables and chairs set up in the parking lot, but you know, maybe setting them up on the street closer to where the music is happening so that people can sit and watch the music. This is all really good feedback that we got last year, and I 100% agree. And you know, I think any suggestions people have, or anyone that you might know that might be interested in doing something to fill the space, it's really, you know, a community event. I can't ride a unicycle, so I can't really contribute, but I agree.
So just doing a lot of these plaza or these festivals and things like this over time and just coordinating the traffic. If you can find a way to draw the people through the blocks, like you guys, again, you guys want to showcase a lot of different things, not just people's arts and festivals and their personal skills, but you also want to kind of showcase Torrington. Like you, again, you direct them to Franco Plaza, you direct them to Co Park. But again, what is our big focal point here? You guys sit right down in the center of town, right? I mean, you guys, the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council sits on the second floor, right on Main Street. And that is the big focal point here, I think. I don't think Co Park loses its luster. I think if you do a few things, but I think if you condense and draw the majority of your people down onto Main Street with your vendors and your food trucks, I think you're going to tend to keep a lot more people around because they're going to be interested in seeing what Torrington has to offer, what the people have to offer. And then they'll want to stay longer because then you're going to have, obviously, you have the umbrella show that will be taking place. You're going to have the, you know, the fire person, hopefully. So you'll have a bunch of things to really kind of engage. And I think that's where Torrington loses a little bit, is that sometimes people kind of get just disorganized because they're either A, spread out very far, which again, I think it's great that Matt has an interest in Bad Dog, but where is Bad Dog? It's all the way up on that second block of Water Street. If you have people go all the way up to Water Street, the tendency to walk all the way back down to go see things sometimes gets lost in the mix. And it's just something to consider. We've done even the PAL Summerfest we've done, and that got really disorganized because we had too many things separated out. We had a little bit at Franklin Plaza, we had a little bit at Co Park, and we had a big thing on Main Street, and everybody got separated, and it became very disorganized, and we couldn't kind of keep a cohesion to it. So we learned too. It kind of just see it from both ends of it.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to stay away from Co Park, like we did last year, and yeah, consolidate everything in terms of space and time to try to be able to offer more for more people.
What time are you guys doing this? As far as what time would you like to have the road closure? Obviously, there's going to be set up time for everybody, so we're going to want to shut it down sooner than later. But what are your times of which the festival is going to be taking place?
That's a great question. We are open to feedback about that. The Polabolis show is probably going to go until pretty late, maybe 10, right?
We'll go as late as we're allowed to because we can't start till after sunset.
Right. So, you know, we can think about it, but maybe it makes sense to start a little later in the afternoon, like 2 p.m.
Shut down at 2. That's an hour of setup. If you're going to start at 3.
Does that sound reasonable to everyone?
So would the craft fair be earlier in the day, or would it sort of everything start at 2?
Everything would start later.
Yeah. Definitely seems to, you know, bring a lot more consolidating even the time, kind of like the space and the time, you know, definitely seems to make a lot of sense. and I think last year, like Kids Place stayed closed. It was sort of like, oh, we didn't want to distract, but you know, if there's things that, you know, if people have creative ideas how to use our space, we're definitely open to that as well.
It seems like Kids Play should definitely be involved if Main Street is closed. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, we're happy to. And, you know, I mean, if we do a mixed audience sort of event, we would kind of have to, you know, there's some parameters around, like when we have adults and children, like unaccompanied adults, or yes, unaccompanied adults. But you know, I definitely think, and if it's sort of like an adults only, then there's like some flexibility as well, in terms of like alcohol and stuff like that. But that's only adults only, that we have any flexibility there. So I definitely want to put it forward that we have the space, and you know, there's even potentially the new space.
and you used to bring some of the activities out on the street.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We definitely have some activities, and I think last year we did that during the day, and then we kind of closed down as you were setting up for the evening events. And I think there was a little fear, you know, kids would be running amok or something like that if adults were outside watching music, and you know, we somehow became babysitters. So, you know, that's a possibility. And then one other thing we are thinking of is we have some art that was donated to us, and doing sort of like a sidewalk sale of sorts, if that seems like it's, you know, attractive to. We don't want to compete with, you know, working artists in the community, but it just might be an additional thing we can do, you know, up in our parking lot, or if things are happening downtown, we could potentially do some things like on the sidewalk in front of Kids Play.
Yeah, I think with this kind of event, it's the more the merrier, you know, when it comes to vendors and events and activities.
Great.
So Rock Your Block, this is Veronica from Rock Your Block. We'll bring the steampunk troupe down again. I'll reach out to David about that. And then we will also plot out the map for where we'll place some buskers, and we'll definitely have someone right out in front of our space, running as long and as is appropriate, not to interfere with whatever else is going on.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
The other thing that I was thinking is maybe signage, like simple, quick arrow type signage, you know, in addition to the parking type signage. You could say, if you have major locations for events, like on the corners or something, you could put signage that just says Warner with the quick list of what's there, something along those lines. You can do those up.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You know, we could probably also, our show at the Warner starts at 7. And by the time we get through everybody and make the selections, it's you know, we're 10 o'clock by the time we're getting out of there. If it helps, we can possibly adjust our time to earlier, so that our audience is being released in time to see the Pilobolus performance as well.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal.
That would be great.
I know Matt's on, and Matt and Lucinda are on here. And Matt, I just threw a curveball at you, but
yeah, it doesn't make really much difference for us.
Yeah, we have the theater all
I
day
think
anyway, right?
you have the theater all day.
Yeah.
You know, we need to talk to Scott and the band about the, you know, the rehearsals, and they may need to condense their work during the day. But no, I mean, if we want to move it so you're getting out, you know, the dance can't really start till what, 8:30? Is that what we figured for sunset?
Correct.
So, you know, that moves that all up about 2.5, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that has you starting at 5:30. It doesn't matter for us. You know,
that's okay.
You know,
we'll have to check into it, and like I said, I will check with the band and everybody else involved. Right.
Yeah, but it's fine for us. So. Yeah, and it does help get people out and back onto the street, and built an audience for the Pilobolus.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of interest. So yeah, I'm really, really taking to heart what Heidi mentioned and really making sure we have a lot of things for people to be doing so that.
So how would that work? So there's gonna be all on Main Street, the Palabolas, a fire performer, and the Warner thing happening, people coming and going? Is
that's a good
Palabolas
question.
in front of the Warner?
I don't think we have a location set. I think we're gonna have to do a
Yeah.
site visit, which is something I was gonna bring up to kind of figure out what our footprint's gonna be. We will take up quite a large space. We're probably gonna do 2 rounds of this experience, one shortly after sunset and then another one later. And each one would probably I'm guessing 75 people could be our max that participate in each one of those rounds. So we're talking about a big chunk of the street. And so I'd love to talk to, I don't know who needs to be involved. I'm sure Matt, your input would be great to come and stand on Main Street and kind of figure out where we're going to be and how that'll affect the flow of all the other people as well.
And we were talking about thinking if it was possible to put a camera over Main Street, and I was talking to John here, and it's just not feasible. We are going to need to do a bucket truck or something.
Okay.
About a drone.
The batteries won't last long enough. We would love to make that work, but the technology is not there yet.
What about from the roof of the kids?
Needs
club?
to be directly overhead.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, we kind of extend over the street. So in the past, when we've done this event, we've done it with kind of a boom lift to get up.
John has contacts, so we can definitely look in and see what's possible.
Cool. All right. Anybody else have ideas? Jessica, were you going to speak before?
Oh, hi. Jessica Russell with Art Room Atelier. I did that mural that was like an enlarged drawing, basically like a coloring activity for kids last year. And I'm just wondering, I remember thinking at the time, because I had noticed all of the other children's events, and I just wondered if there was a thinking around creating a children's program or a children and families kind of like separate, not a separate program, but just thinking through what children and families are, how
Like a
they're
track that kind of runs through the event that's for children and families.
Yeah.
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 And I think like, let's talk about, I think that it would be anyone who might want to be involved in that kind of even, talking about that. Cause we could definitely, if most activities are happening over towards Main Street, even the like mural project that you did last year or something similar, bring that into Kids Play Space as well. Or,
Something like that.
so definitely thinking about that, and even some like maybe some music
Yes.
that's like a little more targeted towards like kids, even to do honestly if it's like on the stage, like a little, like it almost can be the sound check of things. It doesn't have to be perfect or a little more informal, but
I'd like
is
to-
Beth
we can
Bloom-
connect. I'd love to connect with you to come up with a little bit of ideas and stuff and how Rock Your Block can definitely support the kid aspect. So
yeah. Oh, great.
yeah, so I've got your name. I'll be reaching out.
Awesome.
Just so
Great.
everybody
Thank you.
knows, the concert that the Warner did last year is not happening this year. That's not
Okay.
gonna be happening. So there won't be a stage under our marquee.
Right.
There won't be a big concert going on. So there'll be other stuff that we'll need to be doing.
Mhm.
Is this still in T-Town? Yes, this is gonna be in Torrington again.
Mm.
So I'm just reading the chat here.
Kath Bloom, sorry, she's a musician. She's like a folk musician with.
I just saw her like 2 days ago. She is in town.
Oh, good. Is she well?
Yeah, I think she's good. I have her email if you need it.
Yeah, she's just not. I mean, I don't know how current. If you've communicated recently with her by email, or if you have another way.
Like a week, yeah, like a week ago. Mhm.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think that'd be really nice. I don't know if you guys know Kath Bloom, but she's kind of a bit of a legend and has been playing for children as well as touring internationally with her own music for all ages for decades. But yeah, she's wonderful.
Great, great. We can look into that. And then Heidi had commented, community mural chalk drawing, chalk competitions. I like the idea of like maybe not like a competition, but I know Northampton does a chalk art festival where they have artists come in and they pay each artist a stipend to come and create a chalk art masterpiece, which could be a really cool addition. It's just some way to get live art involved. I think would be really interesting. I also have friends who they have a company where they do live murals where they teach kids how to use spray paint and set up a temporary wall to do a live mural, which could be a lot of fun too.
So I just want to say that sounds awesome, especially if it can be something that like could be, on a surface. I know you've been talking to Carl about our mural, but like a surface that could then be mounted somewhere. That it's doing the mural work and then having, like the temporary wall that could actually be put, actually moved to a different location would be great.
Yeah, what I will say is when the kids get involved with the spray paint, it doesn't usually create a masterpiece, but it is fun.
Through parents' eyes, though, they might be very happy to like buy that artwork, make a donation to the Arts Council to secure their child's first mural.
Okay. That might be something to think about for sure, depending on how much sponsorship money we can get.
Yeah.
Steph,
Something like that too. Like it could, be a workshop people even pre-register for within the festival so that you would have, 10 teenagers maybe that were kind of planning to come down, and that usually brings 10 families, which I know is just, 50 people, but it's like little parts like that if each individual event draws people in, it's, helps the whole cause.
Yeah, I like that. And you can kind of see it develop throughout the course of the night and the progress. So
yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Steph.
Yes.
Last year there was someone who coordinated the artists to come and show and have space for displaying their work. Is that in the plan for this year?
Do you mean the vendors?
No, not the vendors. There were studios, like open studios. There was a time that people could walk through.
Yep. So that's coordinated by 5 Points. They open
Okay.
studios, and then the other independent artists, we leave it up to them. If they want to participate or not, but that's always fun. We're going to do that again, open studios.
Okay.
Just one quick question, like, have you thought about running something that's sort of the equivalent, say, of an art fair indoors with local galleries actually having booths?
No. We want to start, as we grow our capacity, to start to bring in arts and culture organizations from all over the region, give them a chance to kind of be seen within the space as sort of more of like a regional presence rather than just Torrington nonprofits. So last year we had a little space indoors where you were, where we had nonprofits with booths. I'm not sure about galleries. I'm open to it. I would just have to kind of speak to someone at a gallery and figure out what they might be interested in doing.
Yeah, I mean, the model I'm thinking of is like the art fair, which is typically where most galleries do most of their, sales and revenue these days. So it's like you buy a booth, but it's definitely like it's just a concentrated way of seeing art that's curated by regional galleries, but not, private, not nonprofits. Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't have space, personally. But if there was someone who had a room, I'm trying to think, maybe Vinny or one of the other building owners might have space
Is the is the Warner Gallery space or any of those spaces being used?
Depends on the timing of it. It's possible the space that would probably normally be used, that we'd use it for something it was of any size, would be the studio lobby, but that's with the vocal showcase is actually moving to the studio this year. But we could think about maybe doing something in the Warner Club, the new space that's right on Main Street, what used to be Michael's Jewelers. That has it right. That would be right on Main Street. It'd be easy in and out for people.
Windows.
And windows, and people could see that there was something going on. That's certainly something we could think about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like usually there's kind of like booths pre-built and then people can hang their work in a small booths for each. But so there's, maybe not for this year, but certainly it's a kind of a cool thought to have a separate space for galleries.
Yes, that is cool. And speaking of the Warner, so the vocal showcase is going to start in the evening. Is the building going to be open if people want to come in and take a look at the architecture and see the theater?
Wasn't planning on it. We'd have to have people, we'd have to have basically staff to either talk about it or at least keep people shepherded. We can talk about it.
Is other than the vocal showcase, are you guys planning on being involved in any way?
We're absolutely happy to help with planning and logistics and stuff, and helping out with Palabolas and logistics, and but we don't have anything specific going on that day besides the vocal showcase.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Anyone else have any feedback, comments, suggestions? Noelle, are you planning to do the sidewalk craft again this year? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, haven't thought too much about it yet, but probably. It's been a crazy few weeks here. But yeah, I mean, all the galleries will be open. We're planning on Launchpad will be open. The annex, the main gallery will all be open.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think I heard you say that you don't think you'll use Co-Park, and I was just thinking how in the summer it's so hot, which is hard to even imagine right now. Like 95 is like so foreign. But maybe Co-Park can be like a daytime venue and then it moves at night. I don't know. It's so hot, and Co-Park is nice and shady, and the kids and the fountain and all that. I don't know.
One really good thing about Main Street is about 4 o'clock. The sun is
right.
First of all, to remind me if I'm right, it's
behind
like
the
at least
buildings.
reaches the median of the road, which is a huge relief. Because yes, if you are out there at noon, so that setup crew from 2 to 3 is going to be working in the hottest part of the day in the sun. But about 4, at least half the street is shaded. So that is a really, and any of those vendors sort of starting about 3 o'clock, as long as the booths are set up on the kids' play side versus the opposite side, we'll have some nice shade. But it's a great, Co-Park is definitely encouraging people at minimum to go to Co-Park and see the gardens, and it's just such it's a wonderful respite, certainly.
It was really hot last year. I will weigh in on that too. And windy. We kept losing artwork to the wind.
On Franklin Plaza.
Yeah, on Franklin Plaza. But yeah, so in the shade, so in the more shaded street, protected street area, it sounds good.
And if anyone is interested in planning anything during the day, we'll certainly promote it as a part of the festival. Like we always do, the yoga classes and all that. We'll promote whatever anyone wants to do. from our perspective and a planning logistics perspective, we're not going to program anything in the park, but we can always include it in our marketing materials if someone else wants to do something. All right. Well, I'm very excited, very interested to, see what everyone comes up with. We're here for questions, comments. If anyone wants to chat or has anyone interested that you want to send our way, we'd be happy to help move them in the right direction. But yeah, we want to get started early this year so that, pretty much the same as past years. We'll set deadlines for kind of when, you submit what you want to do for the guidebook. And we're going to do that again. And yeah, hoping for a good turnout this year.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you.
Yeah.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.